And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast, where I regale my husband with spooky Southern stories of the macabre, creepy, and strange.
And I drink.
So what are we drinking today, Mitch?
Well, our beer of choice is Good People IPA from the Good People Brewing Company in Birmingham, Alabama.
Woohoo!
7.1% alcohol by volume. Let's read the can, shall we?
Let's do it.
Unfiltered and dry hopped, our IPA delivers an aromatic, copper-colored punch with every sip. Herbal, earthy hops lead the charge, tempered by light caramel tones. Crisp and refreshing, it's a hop lover's dream.
And we know that you're a hops lover.
I am a hops lover. With that being said, this gets an 8 out of 10 on the bitterness scale, 7 out of 10 on the smoothness scale. You can have a bunch of these. It's like you're not drinking anything. Except for pale ale. But it gets an 8.5 out of 10 overall from me. The packaging, it's just your normal 6-pack of cans, but I find it to be stylistically plain. It has a real classic feeling to it. There's nothing flashy about it. It's just a good-looking can. For our liquor, we're drinking Redmont Vodka. That's from the Redmont Distilling Company, also in Birmingham, Alabama. 40% alcohol by volume. There's no accompanying information on the label. It's just plain. And since this is a vodka, and I don't really like vodka, it gets a 5 out of 10 overall. 4 out of 10 on ice. Absolutely disgusting. You want to put something in this. For our cocktail, we made it with Sprite and lemonade. I also give it a 5 out of 10.
It's delicious. Disagree.
Okay. Leah likes it. I don't care for it. The packaging on the bottle. Leah said that it's got an industrial look to it. That I have to agree with. It's really clean and simple. Like we said, there's no accompanying label information. Nothing really on it. It kind of looks like something out of Prohibition to me. It's just, it's classic. It looks really nice, I think.
Real classy bottle.
Right. That's our alcohols for this episode. We hope that you get some yourself and try them out. Try to support our southeastern brewers and distillers. Now, let's move on. Leah, do you have some funny place names and facts for us this time?
Well, of course I do. So I'm mildly obsessed with the weird places, place names around our area and then all throughout the South. So
right.
There's tons of little back alley places with just names that you have absolutely no idea how they came to be. And I just wanted to get down to the bottom of how they came to be in the first place.
Right.
So today we're sticking in Alabama because that's what I know the most about. And we're talking about Slap Out, Alabama.
I've heard of Slap Out.
Slap Out. I actually think I have a sorority sister that's from Slap Out.
Mm-hmm.
But this is Slap Out, Alabama. It's from Elmore County.
Right.
And so how it came to be named Slap Out is according to the story that I read in a couple of different places, so don't hold me to this, it might be an internet lie, but this community got its name from the general store. So in the 1920s, obviously there weren't any Walmarts around or any Dollar Generals to get your stuff at.
But we all remember the chain of Slap Out.
Yeah.
There were millions. There was a Slap Out Supercenter.
No, just a regular general store.
Oh, okay.
And Slap Out's a real small town kind of in the middle of nowhere, so I don't expect that their general store was very big and or generously stocked. So
do you think they had an electronics department?
Probably not. 1920s, let's not forget. So basically the story is that this general store never had anything like ever. You went to buy flour, they were slap out of it. So anytime the owner shut up. Anytime the owner didn't have something, he'd just say, I'm slap out of that. So it happened so often that they decided to name the entire community Slap Out, Alabama.
Really? I never knew that. See, I'm from Montgomery originally, so it's pretty close to Slap Out.
Yeah.
I think an aunt of mine might have lived there for a while, but I never knew that story. That's quite interesting. I enjoyed that.
Once again, cannot testify to the veracity of that story, but I like it.
Yeah, it was an enjoyable story. I enjoyed it. Very much. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right, are we ready for our first creepy story?
I think we are.
Okay, let me have it.
Well, let me find my notes first. All right, so our stories for today are both from the town of Montevallo in Montevallo, Alabama.
Right.
It is the very center of the state. It is the geographical center of Alabama.
Right. Just south of Birmingham, where both of
yes.
our alcohols came from today.
Right. See, tying it in.
Yeah.
So both of these also take place at the University of Montevallo, which is where I attended college a couple years ago.
Yeah, just a couple.
Shut up. And actually, fun fact, me and Mitch were married there at the University of Montevallo.
Yes, we were.
Actually, a couple of years ago.
Yes, that one was actually 2 years ago. So
2 years ago.
right.
But anyway, this particular story takes place in the dormitory that I lived in for the majority of my time at Montevallo. So I'm very well familiar with this story. I've never encountered the entity myself, but I know some
Spooky.
people that have. So are you ready for the story?
I was born ready.
Woo!
I got a beer, I've got a mixed drink, and I have a vodka on ice. And it's not looking pretty. So let's go.
All right, so this story takes place in February of 1908. The person in question was a sophomore at the time. Her name is Condie Cunningham. And Condie. Yeah. And so she and her roommate were up late. And at the time, there was like a house mother, and she was the lady that, went around and made sure that you were asleep at your curfew time. And I think the curfew bell rang at 9 o'clock for you to,
Is that a curfew bell?
Curfew bell, yeah. So it would ring once, and that would be your signal, hey, whatever we're doing, we need to pack it up. Because at 9:30, the lights out bell rang. And if you were, if your lights weren't out at the lights out bell, you'd get in trouble. I don't really know what the punishment was, but...
Did they have a cane? Did they walk around with a cane?
I don't think so.
It's a cane.
I mean, maybe. Let's go with that. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It was a cane.
All right.
But at any rate, so Condie and her roommate were up late doing something. Shot in the dark question.
Oh, God.
What were they doing?
Oh, God, I hope I don't miss this.
All right. So, were they A, making fudge, B, smoking cigarettes, or C, using a waving iron?
What the fuck is a waving iron?
So like in the early 1900s, before they invented curling irons like you know them today,
Right.
It's a different type of implement. It was actually invented by a French dude named Marcel.
Marcel Wave.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
No, but he did pioneer this style called the Marcel wave, and it's a type of heated iron that they use to do the little,
I was
like
kinda right.
the little head wave
Like
thing.
Conan?
No,
Like Conan's hair?
No, not at all. Anyway,
Okay, well,
20s like flapper hair.
obviously that's not it.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with making fudge.
Damn.
Yeah, let me give you a shot.
All right, pour me a shot, babe.
Hold on. Leah's got to do a shot of Redmont Vodka from Birmingham, Alabama.
Do like a half shot.
No, fuck you. You can't have a half shot. What are you talking about? Half shot, please. No,
Oh shit,
take
that is
that.
full.
Do you have a chaser?
This vodka.
So no?
That is way too much.
Okay, I found an open Sprite. Here you go. Here you go. You can use this to chase.
Thank you.
There you go. All right. Have at it. Our first shot in the dark.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Oh, ugh.
Yeah, you got to chase it immediately. Don't sit there and wallow in it. Get the Sprite in there.
You know, honestly, not nearly as bad as vodka shots I've taken in the past.
Right. This is actually pretty smooth.
It's really smooth for
this
vodka.
Redmont is pretty smooth. I'm just not a vodka fan.
I know you're not, but I like vodka, and that is actually pretty good.
It's not bad at all. They're not giving us a dime.
No, but if they want to sponsor us, we've got an email address. We'll mention it later.
SouthernSpiritsPodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Right.
All right, so
Continue. They were making fudge.
they were making fudge.
I hope it was worth it.
All right, so they were using a chafing dish to make fudge. So
A
like
shaving
a
dish?
chafing, CHAFFING,
It
chafing.
used to happen to me all the time. I played baseball in high school. I would chafe all the time.
Not the same word.
Oh.
So you've been to a buffet and they have those little sterno cans underneath it with a little flame coming out to heat the pans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically what it is. It's like a little Bunsen burnery kind of thing with a dish
Okay.
over the top of it.
All right. Interesting.
So that's what they were using to make their fudge in. And the first bell rang. So that 9 o'clock bell was like, bing, 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 get your stuff up.
Wait. What did it do?
It said bing, bing, bing.
No. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you got to get your stuff up. So they were scrambling to put all their equipment away because A, they weren't supposed to be cooking in the dorm in the first place, and
Right.
B, they didn't want to be caught violating the curfew.
So they had to scramble to put up their Schaefer thing.
So they had to scramble.
Right.
All of the places that I've looked said scramble. So
Did
I'm
they
gonna
really
go with
did say scramble?
Yeah, scramble.
Nice.
They scrambled.
That's another shot to you.
Shut up. So they were scrambling to get this chafing dish put up and all of their fudge making equipment. But in their haste, the alcohol burner, the little burner that was attached to the chafing dish, turned over and lit Condie's nightgown on fire.
Come on, Condie.
Just went up in flames.
Oh,
now
not
nowadays,
Condie. I mean,
you know,
it couldn't just.
there's
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
there's a federal regulation now that went into effect after World War II that all pajamas have to be flame retardant. Well,
I didn't know that.
you didn't?
No, I didn't.
Well, it is all
That makes
pajamas are flame retardant. At any rate, in 1908. Unfortunately, nightgowns were incredibly flammable,
Right.
and nobody taught her how to stop, drop, and roll. So instead of trying to take the gown off or whatever, she went running down the hallway and down the grand staircase.
Well, I mean, if she makes it outside, that's fine.
No.
I don't think the way this story's going, I doubt she made it outside.
She went up like a torch. She was completely engulfed in flame. She was screaming all the way down the grand staircase. Now, it is a beautiful staircase, by the way.
Well, it sounds pretty grand.
But yeah, she was on the third floor. I don't remember if it was. Excuse me.
Hello, that shot's coming back.
I know, right?
Gross.
But I think she was on Third West, where modern day, I think the Alpha Gams lived there.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I'm glad I know that.
Yeah, well, sorry. But she comes running out of that wing of the building and down that staircase, and she's screaming the whole way down, freaking out, obviously, because she's on fire. Mm-hmm. Well, one of the faculty members, the house mom that managed the dormitory, she obviously was like, oh shit, there's a student on fire. And so she comes and
she didn't sound very worried.
Probably not.
She didn't sound very worried.
Shut up.
Well, I'm pretty sure that nobody liked Condie. Condie had a roommate and they were making fudge. Condie, you're in college.
Fudge is delicious.
Go suck a dick. Go smoke some weed. Do something.
It is 1908. Fudge is delicious. What is your problem?
Yeah, fudge was weed back then.
At any rate, she
sorry.
managed to get this fire put out, but she was insanely burned. Her entire body was covered in
chafing
burns.
oil.
What? No, it was alcohol. But anyway, they took her to the hospital, the nearest hospital, which was... Well, nowadays it's Shelby Baptist, but I honestly don't know what hospital it is. But they took her to the hospital, and she died 2 days later.
Well,
yeah.
That's what you get for making fudge.
Exactly.
I mean, look at how she was dressed. She obviously wanted it.
To be set on fire?
Yeah. She was
I don't think
in her
so.
fudge-making outfit.
All right. So, in the dormitory now... a year after she died, the reports started happening. So the reports were that the door of the room that she was in, that she and her roommate were living in, a screaming face appeared in the grain of the wood. It manifested into the door of her room.
Screaming face.
A screaming face that looked like it was lit on fire.
Was there audio with it? Could they hear anything?
No,
oh, God,
no,
excuse me.
sweetheart. The image
Jesus Christ. I'm so
of
sorry.
a burning face.
I don't want to burp on the podcast. I've had 2 of these IPAs though. I'm sorry. So it was just the face.
Just her
They didn't
face,
hear anything
and it was
with it.
on fire, and the face looked like it was screaming.
Okay.
And it was in the wood grain. And people kept coming by it and looking at it, and it was such a curiosity that the president of the university decided to take the door down, replace the door so it wasn't a problem anymore. But they did that, and the image reappeared in the grain of the wood in each door that they replaced. They tried it, and every door got that same creepy, ghostly image of the girl screaming with the face
Once it
on
came
fire.
up, it was permanently there, right?
Yes.
It wasn't something that came and went.
No,
it was
it was
permanently
always
burned in,
there. They
like it
still
was
have the
etched.
doors. Yeah.
Wait, have you seen the doors?
I have.
What the hell?
Yeah, they bring it out around Halloween for the library every year.
Do we have pictures of the doors?
We do, and I'm going to post it on our blog.
There we go. Mm-hmm. Where can we see that?
At www.southernspiritspodcast.com.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, so in the 50s, they put up a metal door on that room and turned it into a storage room because nobody wanted to, A, live in that room, or, B, have to go by the door with the image of the lady with the burning face.
It should be where all fudge on campus is made. That's what they should have done.
That's the cafeteria.
Well,
Actually, I don't think they ever made fudge, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, what kind of a college cafeteria is just making fudge?
I wish it was ours. But anyway, so they put the final wood door that was on the building in storage. And like I said before, at Halloween, they bring out the door and they display it for all the little freshmen to come around and look at it and be creeped out.
And to teach them to not make fudge.
Yeah, and so, it's a really big deal on campus that's the story that everybody knows, and there's been a ton of, paranormal shows that have come around and done that story. So all of the freshmen are like, huh?
Like Ghost Hunters?
Well,
The
I
Ghost
don't
Hunters
really,
film?
I don't remember which shows exactly, but I've seen
Nobody
a couple
watched
of
those.
episodes of shows that do have Condie's story on it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, they just build this door up, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, the door! You got to go see the door." So my freshman year, I went with my roommate to go see this door on Halloween at the library.
I like where this is going.
And it was a really cool door, and I saw the face, but it was a little underwhelming.
Oh.
I mean, it was really cool, and there was a face.
No, you already said it was underwhelming.
But it wasn't like this horrific thing. Like, it was just like a lady kind of going, on the door, Anyway.
Lady going, Yeah, that was it. That doesn't sound too scary to me.
No, I mean, it's cool. We'll post links to it, like I said before, southernspiritspodcast.com. If you're interested. And we've also got pictures of Condie's gravestone because she's buried nearby. And we'll link to those on all of our social medias and blog and stuff too. But so her ghost is also seen throughout that entire building. That particular residence hall is massive. It houses 300 or something students. It's pretty big. It's an all women's dormitory. And they claim to see Condie on occasion. She's in the west wing of the dormitory, and people sometimes will see her just floating down the staircase on fire. Sometimes people just see her floating down the halls in her nightgown.
Hold on.
Yeah.
People see this apparition on fire?
Apparently, yeah.
Because...
But ghost fire, not flame fire.
Ghost fire.
Although...
Fire.
When I was living there, the fire alarm, oh my God, went off at all hours of the day and night.
Right.
It was so bad that one day the fire alarm went off 3 times in a row at 3 o'clock in the morning, and everybody was just so tired and pissed off that seriously I went to sleep in my closet so my RA couldn't check my room and see that I didn't go out for the fire alarm. Yeah, I know, but I was done.
What if there was a fire?
Well, I would have burnt up and been Leah of the East Wing.
Yeah, people could come see the floating ghost fire corpse
exactly.
of Leah the Fudge Maker.
I never made fudge in my dorm room. Thank you very much.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah,
I've never
it
had some dorm
probably was.
fudge.
So they also say that you can hear in certain ones of the bathrooms, someone screaming, "Help me," which sounds a little creepy.
That's creepy.
Like I said, I've never experienced Condie myself. I did have several other experiences on the opposite wing of the building where
the East
wing, the East wing where this did not take
Leah
place.
of the East Wing.
Yes, I was in the East Wing. Condie was in the West Wing, so I never really had a problem with her. But so that is the story of the girl on fire. Condie Cunningham.
Is that what she's called? The girl on fire?
The girl on fire.
They call her the girl on fire?
Yes.
Is that what the Denzel Washington movie was about?
I don't think so.
That man on fire thing?
No.
Did they make fudge in that movie?
I don't think so. I've never seen that one. I'm sorry.
Okay, I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
At least one. I'm not sure if I have more. Did the fudge have nuts? Were they making good fudge? Or was it just shitty fudge?
Now, most of the information, like the actual historical verifiable information about this, came from a trustees meeting that happened shortly after the chick died. But it never said if she was making nut fudge or non-nut fudge.
Well, hold on. So, the trustees could just be making this whole thing up, right? Which we know the girl died.
Well, she's got a gravestone and her face is in the door, so I'm guessing
you don't know that
happened.
it's her face. You don't know that it's her face.
Who else burnt to death in that building?
It could be anybody. She could have been an aspiring artist. What program was she in at Montevallo? She could have been in wood etching.
Well, at that point in time, it was not called Montevallo. It had several names. Before that, it was previously called the Alabama Girls Industrial School, which I believe is what it was called at that time. It's been Alabama State College. It's been all sorts of names before it became the University of Montevallo. So it was a girls' industrial school at that time period. And I think they offered like homemaking courses. They offered secretarial courses, and they offered pretty sure teacher positions, that like a teacher's course. So there is actually a composite of all of the students from that year, and they know Condie is one of them, but they're not each named, so we don't know which girl was Condie.
That makes it even worse.
Yeah.
That's creepy as hell.
Yeah, but they all kind of looked the same. They all had that same kind of white girl with a pompadour thing going on.
Well, it was Alabama in 1908.
Exactly.
I think they would have all been white girls.
Yeah. So
with the chafing thing. Wasn't that the... No, that was the wave. Sorry.
That's a Marcel wave.
Yeah, the Marcel guy.
Yeah.
I apologize. Was that around in 1908?
Was what?
Wave? The Marcel wave.
Yeah, it was actually invented in 1906. I was a costume major, guys. Sorry.
Oh, so you actually did your research for this.
I did.
I couldn't have Googled it and found out, no, that wasn't invented until 1915. So there's no way they were doing the Marcel wave.
I Googled that shit.
Well, was fudge invented in 1908? I don't even know that.
It was. Well, all right, so you ready for your second story?
Yeah, I think so. Give me just a minute, though, because... All right, yeah. I am ready. Story 2. Go ahead.
All right, so I just told you the story of the building that I spent the very most time in college because I lived there. That was Main Hall. So now I'm about to tell you the story of the building that I spent the second most amount of time in my college career at. It's called Reynolds Hall, and that is where the theater department is held.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Hold on real quick. I have to do this for everyone. That's IPA number 2. Open.
Woo!
IPA number 2 that's been recorded. Let's be honest.
He's had a few. Anyway, so our story takes place at Reynolds Hall. It was built in 1851. It is a beautiful white building.
I'll be the judge of that.
It's got this sweeping double set of staircase on the front. It leads up to sort of a little balcony that's really cute. And through the balcony doors, it has the studio theater on the second floor of the whole building. So the building was named after this guy named Captain Henry Clay Reynolds, and he haunts the place to this day. Reynolds was the first president of the Alabama Girls Industrial School.
Oh, how nice for him.
He was the very first president, and he really helped get the school off the ground. Now, he wasn't the first choice of president. Julia Tutwiler was actually the first choice of president.
That makes a little more sense.
Yeah, but she was trying to negotiate a salary, and they would not pay her what she wanted, so she was like, bye, y'all.
You think
and
she
Reynolds,
could get it now? You think she could get what she wanted in 2018?
Well, I mean, she's dead, so probably
No,
not.
I mean, not like her as a corpse now. I mean, if Tutwiler was around now, do you think she could get her fair salary?
Probably not.
Correct.
Hashtag time's up. Anyway.
Oh, God.
Anyway, back to the story. So, Captain Reynolds, are you okay?
No, I'm very drunk. Continue.
So, Captain Reynolds was the first president of the Alabama Girls Industrial School, which is now known as the University of Montevallo.
Right.
So, there are two different versions of this story. One of them, yeah?
Nope. I was going to say, are we going to get both?
Yes.
Yes.
One of them is the story that you get
going along.
told as a freshman. The other one is what actually happened.
How do you know that?
Because I did the research.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That makes more sense.
So,
I didn't know there was research that could be done.
There is.
I thought you just had two stories and picked.
No. So the story that I was told as a freshman that everybody gets told is that Captain Reynolds, during the time of the Civil War, before the Alabama Girls Industrial School was formed, Captain Reynolds was in charge of this building that would later bear his name. It was being used as a field hospital for wounded soldiers. And so Reynolds...
Was this during the Civil War?
During the Civil War, yes.
Okay.
So Reynolds left his command post at the hospital to go help the forces that were embattled at the Briarfield Ironworks, which is just a little ways away from the university, because the Union forces were attacking the ironworks, and the ironworks were really important for the Confederacy at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So he left to go help them, and while he was gone, doing all that, helping and stuff, Union forces came in and slaughtered everybody in the hospital.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Oh, I was like...
Yeah, everybody says
Whoa.
the Union soldiers just massacred all of the Confederates in the building, and everybody died, and that's why it was haunted. So in all actuality, none of that happened. It was none of that happened. They were actually using the building as a field hospital, as far as we know. But there's no way Captain Reynolds would have been in charge of it because he was a lieutenant at the time. His captainship,
he wasn't even a captain?
No, his captainship was sort of an honorary title that the townsfolk bestowed on him way after the Civil War. So no, he was not actually a captain.
I'm over here trying to take notes, and the fucking word lieutenant is just so hard to spell.
Yeah, I know.
Why didn't I just put LT period? I tried to spell lieutenant.
Anyway, so there's no way that story actually happened. So, you know, it's a good story, but no, probably didn't happen.
Well, lieutenant says otherwise.
But they still tell it, so, I mean, it's a fun story.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we to let facts get in the way of a good story?
Not I.
But anyway, the story that I really wanted to tell is the story of Captain Reynolds himself. Ooh. So, he was the president of the college, and he did a lot of great stuff for the college. Obviously, they named the building after him. But he was forcibly removed from his presidency position as the president.
Did you write presidency as the president?
No. It says from his position as the president.
Okay.
Due to accusations of shot in the dark.
Oh,
question.
Shit. Oh, God. I was like, it's going to be rape. It's obviously going to be rape because of how much you got into it. But obviously it's just a shot in the dark. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Why was the captain tossed out of the school? Was it A, inappropriate relations with a student.
Oh, okay.
B, drunken revelry. Or C, misusing school funds.
What year was this?
The 18-something or anothers. 1851 was when the building was built, but I don't remember when the school was founded because I'm a bad person.
So this was around the school founding?
Yeah, like he was the first president and he served for like a decade or so.
So it was pre-Civil War. I don't know that...
No, I don't know. The school was post-Civil War. The building was built in 1851 because it was used as a men's conservatory.
Right, that's right. It was a hospital.
Yeah, it was a hospital and all that.
Okay.
The building was there before the school
I'm going
was
with
founded.
the school funds.
God.
Yeah! That's 2 in a row.
Hard.
Yeah!
All right, I got to take another shot, y'all.
I can't wait to carry Leah to bed tonight. And just put her down. Just let her go.
Pour me a shot, babe.
Oh, God, I forgot I had to do
I've
that.
got to make these questions harder.
Yeah, I mean, you're giving it away. The other 2 are just ridiculous. I mean, obviously there was fudge.
But was there drunken revelry?
No. Obviously. Fucking Condie wasn't getting drunk. She was making fudge.
Fudge is delicious.
That's not what people do in college.
Especially not in Alabama.
What does that mean? What did you do?
Hey.
No.
I was very sober in college. Shut up.
I wasn't.
We all know that. Okay, ready?
No one knows that. Okay, yep, go ahead.
Oh, God. I'm ready. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, God. About to hear Leah vomit.
Ooh!
Oh, that makes me happy.
That's smooth Redmont vodka.
It is pretty good, isn't it? Surprisingly.
Hashtag not spawns.
I'm thinking about changing my ratings at the beginning of the episode.
You probably should. It's kind of great.
I probably should change it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go back and edit it. 10 out of 10 overall. 10 out of 10 shot. On ice, it still fucking sucks.
That's because vodka on ice is gross.
Yeah, well.
All right,
anyway,
so
back to the story. Go ahead.
back to the story.
Nice.
Me. Okay. So he was removed from his position as the president of the college due to accusations that he was embezzling and mishandling college monies.
I want to know what he did with the money.
Well, there's a lot of stories, and they never actually proved that he was doing anything wrong, technically. But he was taking student tuition monies and paying off different bills and reinvesting it in the community, building stores and stuff like that, and it was kind of iffy.
That doesn't sound like he's embezzling.
Yeah.
That sounds like he's Robin Hood. Like he's stealing to build other buildings to put other people to
I don't
work.
know. It was sketchy enough that the people at that point
I don't get me wrong, I don't support it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like he was just embezzling it to drink a bunch of booze or something.
Well, no,
or
no.
buy a whole bunch of fudge.
No.
Right. He wasn't doing that.
But they did decide that maybe we shouldn't have this guy as the president anymore, so they kicked him out.
Right, he's still stealing.
And he left the school very angry and bitter because he helped found that school and get everything started so that school could be possible, and they kicked him out. So he was angry and bitter and just altogether not happy, so he moved to Florida.
Oh,
like you do.
That's how he got back at him. I'm going to South Beach, fuckers. I'm out of here.
So...
What? That's it?
Yeah.
He just moved to Florida?
He just moved to Florida.
All right. Good on you, Captain. Was he a captain?
Yeah.
He wasn't
honorary
still a
captain.
lieutenant? He didn't get demoted?
Honorary captain.
Honorary.
Yeah, so...
It's kind of like an honorary Oscar. Nobody gives a shit.
Indeed.
It's because you weren't good enough.
He actually still haunts the building that bears his name. He is mostly encountered on the first floor of the building. So there used to be a portrait of Captain Reynolds hanging in the parlor downstairs. It's a really pretty formal parlor. The alumni relations department is sort of down there. And they have lots of really pretty antique furniture. You know, it's real nice down there. And a really pretty portrait of Captain Reynolds used to hang down there. Well, the school decided that they were going to replace it with a portrait of someone else, probably someone that donated money to him. Let's be real. So they switched him out, and apparently the captain did not approve of this change. And the next day, when everybody came in for work, the captain's portrait was hanging in the spot that it always had, and the replacement portrait was on the ground. And they tried that a couple times, and every time the replacement was on the ground.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So,
that's something I would do.
There you go.
I would hold a grudge into the afterlife from Florida.
He was petty as hell. So, I mean, there you go. People have reported also seeing his apparition on that balcony that I talked about before, on the top of the staircases late at night. Especially the music students have talked about it, because the music building is right across the street from Reynolds, and you can sort of see the balcony really well from that building. And people have said that they saw a ghostly apparition just watching the students from across the street.
Was it touching itself?
No.
It was just watching?
No.
That's even weirder.
No.
Just no. Just no.
Now, there are other ghosts in Reynolds Hall as well. One that I'm personally incredibly well acquainted with.
Oh. What does that mean?
So, like I said before, I was a theater
Hollow
major.
Man shit going on here?
I was a theater major, and my focus was costuming. And so I spent a crap ton of time in the costume shop, sewing and doing laundry and all sorts of fun stuff like that. And there is a ghost that sort of lives on the second story, but is very active in the costume shop, and his name is Charles.
Okay.
They think he was a soldier, a Confederate soldier who died from his wounds in the Civil War when it was a hospital.
So the theater was also a hospital?
Well, I mean, the theater's on the second
was.
floor of the building. Yeah.
Right, where
Yeah.
the honorary captain
Yeah.
right, had his soldiers.
Yeah.
My bad.
So Charles...
I was still thinking about the fudge story.
Yeah, Charles is kind of a jerk. He likes to mess with students. He particularly likes girls with blonde hair, and he likes to mess with them.
Charles.
Yeah.
Calm down.
He's kind of a jerk.
Charles's last name is Weinstein.
He moves props around. He takes tools and places them where they shouldn't be. It's kind of weird. You can be running a show and suddenly a prop was there and it's not there anymore, and it's like on the other side of the building.
What did he do? He just moved it?
My most vivid experience from the costume shop, with Charles specifically, and like I said, I'm not one that really actually believes particularly in ghosts. I've had weird shit happen to me, but I don't know.
You believe.
I'm still a little iffy on that. But what happened to me with Charles was I was running laundry for a show. I think it was hair my freshman year. Yeah, and there was a lot of sweaty, tie-dyed, gross nastiness that had to be washed every night.
That makes sense.
So I was there in the building by myself, in the costume shop by myself, doing that nasty laundry. Yeah.
So gross.
They sweated so much. It was
I would
gross.
hope so. Now, they didn't do a full performance of hair, right?
No, there was no nudity. That's illegal in Shelby County.
Because I know what hair entails.
Yeah, that's illegal in Shelby County.
And it's talking about pubic hair.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
Never seen the show, though. I am intrigued. Especially if college students are putting it on.
You're such a pervy old man.
I'm sorry. I didn't... Forget I said that. I'm going to cut that.
Okay.
We'll get rid of that in editing.
All right, but anyway, so I was in the costume shop by myself, and I was waiting on the washer to finish so I could put everything in the dryer before I left. So I was I was actually standing and leaning on the cutting table, so it's just a big table that we use to lay out fabric and cut patterns out on. And there was, on the opposite wall across the table, there was sort of a pin board with
Like a tack board?
Yeah, like a tack board that had different
Excuse me, Jesus.
things for the next show that they were doing. So you would pin up the designs for whatever was coming up next, and it was
so
just
sorry
a place.
about my burps. I'm so sorry.
It was just a place that we could pin up, the designs for the next show.
Right.
Well, I'm standing there just waiting and being bored, probably looking at something on my phone, listening to really sad music like I do.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the tack board flew off the wall and across the table and landed right in front of me on the table. Scared the absolute daylights out of me.
Now, see, I'm not a believer. That's perfectly explainable with just a gust. It was just a wind gust. Just a draft. Just a draft.
Off of a wall?
Yeah, I mean, it was nothing.
That gust that came through the brick wall?
It was somebody opened a door.
Right.
You just had a draft.
I mean, I was there alone, and the thing flies off the wall and lands in front of me, but all right.
Yeah, I mean, it was
it's
nothing.
a draft.
Yeah.
All right, so...
Go ahead.
I mean... So Charles is definitely the most vivid memory that I have of college. Ghost-wise, really? Yeah. All right, so that was my Charles story.
Charles sounds like a dick.
He kind of is. He really is. But all of the theater students know him. You sort of make peace with him and keep going.
I apologize if I got drunk and don't remember. But did we ever actually find out how Charles died?
No.
Because I know we said that it's speculated he was a Civil War soldier.
Yeah.
But nobody knows for sure, right?
Well, not that we know of. Some weirdo braver than me might have, Ouija boarded him or something, but I've never heard if they did.
Yeah, Ouija board's real.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so that was my second story.
Well, second story in the books. Okay. I do have a question.
Yes,
At least
sir.
one. At least one again.
All
it could
right.
be more than one. This one does not have to do with fudge, I don't believe.
Okay.
We'll see where it leads us. So, Henry Clay Reynolds was an honorary captain.
Yes.
Right.
Uh-huh.
He was a for real lieutenant, though.
Yes.
In the Confederate Army.
Yes.
Okay. Did he have a big old beard?
Did
he have a big old Confederate beard?
It was not
nasty.
big.
Like that guy from Wild Wild West? You know what I'm talking about?
No, with Confederate standards, no. It was not crazy.
Okay.
Because
So
you've
he had a
seen,
trimmed
those
beard.
big... Yeah, he had a nice, trimmed,
he was a
respectable beard.
He's a millennial lieutenant.
Well, I mean, and he had the little glasses. So, yeah, he kind of looks like a Williamsburg
He's a hipster Civil War lieutenant.
Exactly.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah.
What's his deal?
I mean...
Well, okay. The freshman story about the Union soldiers coming in, that's just horseshit, right?
Yes. Far as, I mean, there's absolutely no way that could have been possible.
So freshmen are just told that.
Yeah.
Just to be like, ooh, it's spooky.
Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of shit?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, fuck that. I mean, I'm going to believe that one. Because I like that one.
It is a much better story than this guy kind of maybe sort of embezzled something and is kind of
he didn't
pissed off
sort
about
of do
it now.
anything. He full on stole the money. It's just that it wasn't necessarily with evil intent.
Yeah, yeah.
He was still an asshole. He just,
I mean, I think he would take offense to you calling him an asshole.
I don't give a shit. It was 1861. 51.
51.
I apologize.
Well, no, the building was
apologize
built
to Henry
in
Clay Reynolds.
1851.
Oh, the building was built in 51.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's when the story took place. That's what matters.
No, it was several years later. I didn't do that much research. I'm sorry.
You think I wasn't paying attention?
Oh, bless.
Jesus. Okay. Well.
I'm a little drunk.
Are you? Well, you did have 2 shots.
I'm sorry.
I've just had a couple beers and a couple mixed drinks.
Woo!
So, anyway, let's revisit our alcohols real quick. Good People IPA. IPA. Wow.
I think
there you go. Too. There you go. There's your review. That was it. Good People IPA. That's it.
No. This Redmont Vodka.
Still delicious.
Woo!
Wonderful. Redmont Vodka. Again, not a vodka fan. Leah likes it. That's good enough for me.
It's delicious.
It actually is a smooth vodka. much better than, in my opinion, your normal vodka that has a real sharp, like, tinge to it.
It has no burn on the way down. It's great.
Right, it's pretty nice.
You could shoot this all day until you, like, vomited.
Still not okay, calm down.
Sorry.
All day. 3 shots in. I mean, that's 15 minutes at most.
Shut up.
All day, vomit, fall asleep.
What if they were, like, really little shots?
Then that's not a shot. That's a sip. You can sip this all day and not feel it. No, you're going to feel it. You're just not going to taste it. So, yeah, that's fine. But, yeah, it actually is much better than... No, I'm still sticking with the scores. It sucked. But...
It's just because you don't like vodka.
Right. It's a good vodka, though. It really is.
Yeah.
And I do fully recommend getting some more Good People IPA for everyone involved. Get you some good people from right here in Alabama.
Whoop, whoop.
It's a good one. It's a real good one. Yeah. All right. Well.
I think I want to propose a toast, Mitch.
Oh, well then let's propose a toast.
Okay.
Leah, take us away.
All right, everyone out there in podcast land, if you've got a drink in your hand, raise it up.
Jesus.
If you don't have a drink, grasp your imaginary goblet and hoist it to the sky. Tonight we toast Condie Cunningham and Captain Reynolds. The Captain Reynolds holds a grudge 'cause stealing never pays. Next time you make illicit fudge, don't set yourself ablaze. Let's drink.
Illicit Fudge.
Illicit Fudge.
That's the title of the episode. Illicit Fudge. Episode 1, Illicit Fudge.
Illicit Fudge.
Jesus Christ.
But it was a good toast, right?
That was a great toast. Condie and the Captain. Oh, there's a fucking sitcom idea. Condie and the Captain. I'm going to start on the script.
Captain and Tennille.
Tonight. No, it doesn't sound like Captain and Tennille. It sounds like Condie and the Captain. I'm starting on the script when we get done with this.
Sweet.
I'm not a writer. It's going to be awful. But I'm going to present it next week.
And I'd watch it.
Next episode. All right. Thank y'all so much for listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast on iTunes. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest at Southern Spirits Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at
S-Spirits.
At S Spirits Podcast. If you've got suggestions, y'all, this is going to be awful every week. Just get used to it. If you've got suggestions for future show topics or have a personal story you want to share with us, please email us at southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com. Also, if you have any ideas about alcohols, anything around you in the southeastern United States, I need to know about them. Just something I could buy in a retail store. So do email us that. Send us a message on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Just let us know, because I'm going to need some help.
See y'all next episode.
Hey, bye everybody.
Bye y'all.